Get them in now. And then, you move at your own pace. After high school, then, you know what? It's up to you what you do. If you decide
no
to
doubt about
further that education, we just had a scholarship breakfast this past Saturday in memory of our departed brother, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas H. Mayfield, one of the original Tuskegee Airmen.
Wow.
He was a member of my chapter in Omega and entered the fraternity by way of Zeta Sigma chapter at Bluefield State College back in 1947. Passed away in 2012 at the age of 95 years old. And the scholarship is actually named after him. And we had 5 awardees that we honored at that breakfast, 4 for the scholarship named after him, and then 1 other scholarship named after our departed brother, Frederick Chapman Jackson Sr., who entered the fraternity in 1969 by way of Pi Phi chapter. So, we honor our brothers. We honor those individuals who have achieved during their high school years, and now they're going to be on their way to bigger things by way of college, and also, who knows how far they'll go. A couple of them have plans to go to medical school. So, the expectation of us, meaning us older folks, is that they do one better than we do, And
that's what we always want them to do, is one better. We always want them to do one better, if not 2 or 3 better. Every generation expects the other generation to go one step further than they did. So hopefully that'll be the case with these folks that you honored and gave those scholarships to. And it sounds like y'all are going to be honoring them for many years to come. So it sounds like this is going to be a continual scholarship fund that'll be hopefully giving scholarships out for decades, if not centuries. So hopefully their legacy will live on that way.
Yeah, we're like 12 years of running, so God willing, we will continue to give. It doesn't pay for all of their school, but it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? And some people will say, well, you only gave out this much, or why didn't you give out this much? But you don't want to give one person all of the eggs. Like the old school folks say, never put all your eggs in one basket. And here are young lives, which we consider, so to speak, the eggs. And we are, making sure that they grow and that they come up in the right atmosphere, even with all of the craziness that goes on around us.
Because we know that there's some there's definite craziness out there. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's sad, but it continues to go on. The same way as if people have not seen When They See Us, on Netflix, make sure you check that out. It actually shows what took place after the media was gone. The media showed them being put in the cars and they were being charged with this or whatever. But after all of that, and even some of the things in between, you get to see from their point of view. Nobody made this up. This is actually, real life. And we're still
real life.
We're still dealing with the madness.
Real life does not play. Real life is very real, and folks need to understand that there is no doubt about that folks will just sit there and pretend like it doesn't exist, but it is such a real thing, and but we just have to deal with it. Speaking of real life, and I'm going to change the topic just a little bit here, and I'm also see if we can't run an ad so I can get in touch with a couple of our guests. I've heard from several of them by email, so I'm expecting that bell to ring at any point. But the real life question I've got to ask you is a sports real life. Are the Golden State Warriors done? Or is Durant, who I understand is going to be playing in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, going to be enough to save them? Or is Mr. Leonard just going to go ahead and end this thing tonight, and it'll be them winning in 5 and Canada celebrating all night long? But what is your call on this?
To be honest, I would like to see the underdog win this thing. You know, after a while, it becomes a bandwagon type situation. I remember when the Golden State Warriors were just existing, and nobody was a real Golden State fan. And all of a sudden, they started winning, and it's the typical thing. Whoever starts to win, people gravitate more towards that team. And they follow that team, and then they say, okay, well, I want to do this. You know, this is where my loyalty lies. And then all of a sudden, here comes another team, again, the Toronto Raptors, who, okay, they had back when they first started Vince Carter and then Tracy McGrady. And, you know, you're like, all right, but not enough to win a title. But now they've gotten pieces in place that I hope that they close this thing out, because I like rooting for the underdog anyway. That's just how I am. So I would prefer that they take that title to Toronto. It could actually be a good thing for how the league is set up. Maybe if they're looking at something such as possibly expanding the NBA brand by way of teams, maybe that could help get a couple of more international teams that are part of the National Basketball Association. So you never know how it's going to end up or how it's going to go, but I want to see Toronto take it.
Because I want to say that I did hear rumors of another Canadian basketball team being a possible one of the sites if there is expansion in the works and everything. I can't remember who it was. It might have been one of the big Providences, but I did think that I heard somewhere that there was at least one more Canadian team that was at least being considered. And, of course, if you bring a champion to your country, I think you really have to look at doing that. I mean, I would have no problem if we expanded, even going to south of the border and hitting like maybe a team from Mexico or even Latin American countries. But I mean, it's the National Basketball Association, but I don't see why it can't become the International Basketball Association. Of course, we have hockey,
right.
Olympics and all of that going on. But hey, I've seen a lot of sports that have teams from throughout. I mean, baseball has definitely representatives from both Canada, several representatives from Canada, as well as North America. As well as the United States. I want to say that there's other sports that definitely. Hockey definitely has more than one representative. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people, just like people were shocked that Toronto may be winning the championship, there was a time frame when you remember that folks might have been shocked that an American team was winning and not a Canadian team in hockey. But it's become pretty much commonplace for American teams to do almost as well, if not better, than our Canadian brothers up there. But I think that there was a time in history when folks probably would have been shocked that it wasn't a Canadian team winning it, just because that sport is much bigger, definitely in the northern part of the United States, and definitely much more popular in the Canadian provinces and everything. But now, it's all over the place. I mean, one of our champions last year was from Las Vegas. We had and they actually almost won the whole thing. I think they came in. Did they win the whole thing last year, or did they come in second? That I can't remember, but I do know that they were definitely in the finals. And then also the team from right here in our area, the Raleigh-Durham team, the Raleigh team, they've done really well. They made some noise in the playoffs. So their teams from Florida have done well. So that sport is spreading throughout, and now I just need to get a little bit more national flavor on soccer and a couple of other sports that I like a lot, in addition to our traditional ones like basketball, football, and to some degree baseball. But I wouldn't mind if soccer took off, and I definitely wouldn't mind, because I know some people that play the game, if lacrosse took off. But maybe we can get it to we're a 6 sport country instead of the standard 3 or 4.
Right. It'll be interesting. It'll be real interesting.
It could be real. Could be real interesting. Well, I just texted one of the people, but if you want to run some ads on, I'm going to see if I can give them a call as well. So maybe you just run an ad or two, and I'll also pull up some world news and see if there's anything that we need to talk about. But I do know that I'm definitely expecting one person to say that they would call around 7:40, 7:45, but I'm trying to see if I can't get Aya to call. But we still have the others that will definitely be calling around 7:40, 7:45. So if you just want to drop some ads in real quick, and then we'll be back very shortly.
All right, y'all. It's Straight Talk with Dean and Mark, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Bass players, best thing you can do for your overall sound. You've got to see this. New Bass Tone Incorporated makes Nightwalker bass guitar tube preamps. This preamp will give your sound such a boost, it's just incredible. Try it today. Try it today now. A great sounding bass guitar will make for a great sounding band. Make your band sound at its best. Best thing you can do for your bass guitar sound. NewBassTone.com. NewBassTone.com.
The old Renaissance is the new Renaissance, standing on tradition while embracing the spirit of distinction. This is the Harlem Brewing Company. Uniquely crafted beer brewed to deliver a taste, a sound, and a feeling that can only be described in one way, Harlem style. So come and take a trip on the A train with our Harlem Sugar Hill Golden Ale and our Harlem Renaissance Wit Beer, the neighborhood original.
This is Nikki Hall, founder of Simply Radiant LLC, a woman with great passion and skill to make you look and feel better. Meet me where you are. Let's take it to another level, a new you. See you soon. Call 919-971-6243. Make your place today.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, Fish Dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What, the job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hey.
Right on time. The doorbell rang.
Right on time. The doorbell has rung. Welcome to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. You are on air right now with us. Please let us know who you are and where you're calling from.
This is Aya Shabu from Durham.
This is Teli Shabu.
Hey, Aya, Teli. Dean, these folks are just some amazing folks that are just right here in our community, and they're just doing all kinds of great work. As a matter of fact, they've got a time capsule that they're going to be opening up later on this weekend. So I definitely want them to talk about that and everything.
Wow.
Aya's been working on that very strongly, and we'll share some of the history of what that's all about. But they are just great, not just activists, but I consider them like art activists here in this area that believe in the power of the arts as well as how art can be an important factor in us telling our history, both from here as well as Teli has some family roots from one of the African countries as well. So they use the whole arts spectrum to do a lot of storytelling and things of that nature. So that's my little quick introduction. I hope that wasn't too overly flattering, Aya and Teli. But if you would just share with our audience a little bit about what y'all are all about in your